Reporters Forum. All of the brothers from all of the papers came out, and we want you to check out what they had to say.
See, that's the thing, though. Our people are continually letting the burden of our community being carried on the backs of a few. It cannot continue to be like that. I mean, you have a lot of people from different backgrounds up here who represent media. You have Mr. who just joined us, Mr. Sid Cassette from Newsday. You have the Community Journal. You have my television show, which is like a hip-hop TV show. And then you have Make It Happen, which is you don't have to be a star to be a star. Then we have Floyd Jenkins. And I mean, the thing is, it just cannot, the burden cannot be continually carried on at this point with high technology. With the onset of high technology, the information highway, which Mr. Sessions is going to be speaking on, there is going to have to be more of a financial backing for what we do.
A certain amount of power to
only if you buy that newspaper
Exactly.
and put an ad in his television program.
If there's an article in that paper that is backed up by a television show or what have you, and it's all on the focus, just says, on your show, do you say read African watch Andrea's show, or on Andrea's show, does it say read the Community Journal? Is that going on? Hey, find out more, read the journal.
I think,
see this in the paper.
Sir, I think that was mentioned earlier because you brought that up. Right. We do work together. We do reciprocate. We do, as far as I advertise with him, he advertises with us. I don't know if we have your show in the paper, but we don't have a problem with that because that's a part of the business itself. I mean, that happens in the greater community. If you're looking, and somehow I get the impression that you're looking for, because we are the press, we should be able to influence people to do things. We can't. We are not the leaders of the community. What we do is we give information. We attempt to be balanced. We attempt to be fair. We're not always there. But the point is, all we can do is give you the information. Because one thing about this society that I've found, it's easy to take out a leader because you can see him. It's very difficult to take out a concept because everybody can buy into that. You see? So all we do is we put the concept and the information out there for you. And you have to buy into that. And you have to do those kinds of things to build a business here on Nassau Road or build one in Hempstead and rally the people to come to the forums and that kind of a thing. We're doing our job. So I don't want you to walk away and don't feel that we're doing our job. We're doing all we can do. Okay. The problems that we have in Nassau County in these two communities, Hempstead and Roosevelt, are vast. And when we sit here, the few of us sit here and talk about it, and we take our newspaper and get out the word to 7,000 people about the blight on Nassau Road, that's 7,000 people. There are 190,000 African Americans in Nassau County. Okay? We don't get to all of them. We can't afford to get to all of them. Why? One of the reasons, we don't support ourselves. And when we talk about business here in Roosevelt, the people who live in Roosevelt, if everybody who lived in Roosevelt got up and put $2 in their pocket and came down here to Food Town, they would buy them out in one day. You see? But we don't do that. The other communities do that, and they understand that it's the only way they're going to have a business here that thrives is by them going to that business and spending their money there. We have a lot of excuses. Well, it's not convenient, the price is too high. Well, the prices are high and the prices and it's inconvenient right now. If we support it, it will change. You see, it will change. It may not change tomorrow, but within the next few months, few years or whatever, it will change. We have to grow this community. We have to take charge of it and grow it. We can't sit here and complain about it. We have to get up and do something, reach in our pocket and save ourselves. Okay? And I get emotional about it because I live here, you see, and it's in me. So when I write my articles and I do things, I do it from that perspective. Newsday, on the other hand, they can't be emotional. They have to try to be broad-based. They have to try to be fair. And that's fine for them. But here in this community, we need ourselves to take charge and take control of what's going on here and do something about it. Okay?
African American Reporters Forum held here at the Roosevelt PAL. Now, I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves to you before we go any further. Starting on my far right.
Hello, I'm Barbara Ware, and I'm a reporter for the African American News and also trustee for the Roosevelt Public Library.
Yes, I'm Sid Cassette. I'm a reporter with Newsday. I've been for Roger Corbin, legislator from the 2nd Legislative District here in Nassau County.
I'm Bob Adams. I'm editor and publisher of Economic Forum newspaper, also Minority Business Review.
I'm Chika Onyani, publisher of the Nigerian Times International, which is changing to the African Sun Times.
I'm Charles Sessions, president of Exodus Computer Technology.
I'm Floyd Jenkins from your community reporter.
I'm Steve Drake, host of the television show Make It Happen.
I'm Dale Anthony, host and executive producer of Tough Talk.
I'm Gary Coley, publisher and editor of Community Journal.
And that's everybody. And now, at this part of our forum, we'd like to speak to Mr. Roger Corbin from Legislative District 1, and it says on here 1 and 2. And that's another story. But our topic right now is going to be solutions to the problems. You know, most times reporters always cover stories which are just problems, but we want to start this discussion off with solutions to the problems and have each individual reporter bring up a solution to some of the problems that combat our community. Let's start off with Mr. Roger Corbin.
Yes. What I see as one of the many problems is that our community does not have a voice as far as the electronic media or the print media. We really don't get our true story told to the constituents that we represent. The answer to all of that is to empower our minority media. When we empower our minority media, we will be able to get our voice out. Now, I sit on the Nassau County Legislative Body. There's been historic things happening in Mineola, and we have yet to get the media to articulate that, particularly when it took citizens that came from our community to help create this new legislative body in Nassau County. So now I am doing the work in which all the citizens from our community have put me there to do, not to sit there to be quiet. Now, that is not being told by the media, particularly the white media. They don't want to tell that story. We have a Minority Affairs Council, which we objected to because they took citizens in our community that has really never articulated for our constituents in the history of this county.
It takes aim at what it sees as a problem in the community, and the community responds by saying that you're showing our negative side. And it is true that we often show the negative side, much more than we do the positive side. But usually it's the negative side that needs to be addressed. Often if that is not put in print or seen on television, people won't know what's happening.
Chika Onyani, when he's asked about the effectiveness of boycotts.
Somewhere on 32nd Street and demonstrate against a Korean bank, you know. I don't think that was appropriate, you know, because, you know, that one is not effective. But when an organization like Essence, which has the economic power, and other organizations, if a city decides to be racist, and then those organizations could easily pull out, and it is effective.
That you've been able to utilize. Gary Coley from the Community Journal about support from the community.
With every problem that occurs, there is a solution. So whatever we're facing within the community, for every problem that is out there, somewhere there is a solution to that problem. We've gone through basically the same thing that most of the other papers and people from the media on this panel have gone through, suffering from lack of overall support from the community. And putting forth a positive message, I guess it's a little bit more difficult to get that across to people as opposed to having blood and guts and people in handcuffs and all the negative elements that seem to sell a lot better. But we are persistent in getting our message out. Whatever problems that do come up in terms of us getting the paper out, getting the points across. We just ask people to bear with us because we're coming and we're coming and coming and coming until we finally get that message across to people.
Charles Sessions from Exodus Computers about where the reporters need to go right now.
Typically, some of the key words that you said today are collectivism. Some of the problems that I see, I mean, I don't think that there were, I think Ms. Ward, I don't think that we're that far away from technologies 15 years. The information highway is blossoming. So a lot of companies are just getting together. Technology for the year 2000 hasn't even been really invented yet. So there's a lot of openings for us to be able to deal with. But the hardest part is getting a starting point. Where do we get a starting point? Where do we get the truth out of some of these major corporations in terms of where to go and how to deal with things? I think in terms of the gentlemen, to me, they're different countries working with one purpose, where if there were one entity, there would be a lot more power to be able to deal with. All right, some things are said, well, we don't have that many computers, but there is a significant portion of us who do have computers. And there is also a significant need for people to know that they have to be computerized.
Voice for us in the county legislature to disseminate information to our citizens. You're not going to hear it from the mass media, you'll hear it from the minority media, and you'll hear it just like it is. We're going to get things for our community, but the only way you get things is not wait until they develop a budget, but when they're in the process of doing a budget. We're at the table, let's take advantage. Politics is just as important as the economics, because politics is nothing but perception. It's all over the world. You can't get away from it. So African Americans, Hispanics, you know your history. They tried to kill Medgar Evers. They tried to stop us from voting. They tried to stop us from getting involved in the political process. That is the reason. Now that we're there and you put the right people there, you expect those people to stand up and advocate. And the only way I can get my message through is through all the print media, the electronic media. That is the only way I can get my message through, because the other media is not going to really print it per se or slant it in a different way, a negative way. So I am excited about this, and we will access the computers. The computer age is so important to us, because if we don't access it, we're all lost.
This computer technology. And on behalf of the African American Network News, we're proud to present the Propaganda Award for 1996 to Mr. Carl Bishop for his outstanding community service.
Okay, now you see we have a united front, and the logo, we have a logo now from that meeting, and it's called the African American Media Network, and it's called Amen. So if you'd like to be a part of Amen, the African American Media Network, you can call our studios or email us, and we'll get you out a membership, as well as a membership for the African American News if you're interested. So just email us or give us a ring.